My brother pointed that out.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, all right, focus. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Rye. Zeke, I don't know what you're doing, but stop. Kendall, focus. All right, guys. Thank you. What I can say is please don't lose, you guys, your writing paper. I see almost all of you with it still out on your desk. Put it in a folder so that it is safe. Sean, Jason, put it in a folder so that it is safe, please. Zeke, writing papers, put them away. Okay? All right. Here's what we're talking about today. Who can be president?
Me.
Can it be anyone?
No.
No. Okay. You guys, pause. You have this piece of paper loaded on your seesaw. Who can be president? If you would like to, you may open up and hit add response so that it shows it to you and follow along, okay? You guys have got to quit all the little jibber jabber, okay? So, can it be anybody? Can absolutely anybody be president of the United States? Sam?
No.
No.
Why? Are you speaking British?
You said that super. Hang on. Stop talking when I call on someone else, guys. You have not had a problem with this all year long, but today I haven't even been here but like 2 hours, and you guys have not stopped talking on top of each other. Stop it. Be respectful, Sam.
And so not anybody can.
Okay, not anybody.
So you have to be at least 35, right?
Sam's doing this all from memory because I haven't passed these papers out yet. All right, at least 35.
Yeah,
Tell us more.
And you have to not have a criminal record, right?
Seems like that because there's not been a lot of press about that lately.
Really?
But I don't know if that's actually a thing. I know, it seems like it should be.
Yeah.
But do you have to have a lot of money?
No.
No?
Be in
Barack Obama didn't have a lot of money.
You don't have it. I didn't assign it to you. You're not a virtual kid anymore. You're here in my room. They have it assigned. You do not because I'm going to give you a piece of paper copy, okay, in a minute. All right. Sam's right. You do have to be at least 35 years old. So in this room, I could do it. You guys can't. Some of your parents might be able to. Some of your parents might not yet be able to. Okay? Have to be at least 35 years old.
What about 34?
No. 35 years old on the dot. By election day, tomorrow, candidates would have to be 35 years old.
What if somebody was just 35 years on the election day?
Then that's fine. They're 35 before their actual presidency begins. Okay? 35. Period. You can say, what if they're 34 in 10 days? No. 35. Period. The end. Okay? We can what if this to death, but it's 35. Period. Z.
I have a question with that. So you're not actually the actual president until irrigation day or something.
Inauguration day.
Inauguration. And then so what if you're 30?
Irrigation day.
What if you're 34 and then you turn
Okay, you can ask me a lot of what ifs about if you turn 35 in between election and inauguration. I don't know. Don't know. Okay, but 35. 35. Let's go with 35 by election. It might be 35 by inauguration. I'm not sure. So what Zeke is talking about is inauguration day. So we have election day tomorrow. Tomorrow we will vote. I have a feeling that when we wake up Wednesday morning, we're not going to know. This is going to be a really close race, which means they're going to count every single ballot. And polls will be open late tomorrow. Plus, there were a lot of people that sent in ballots because they didn't want to vote in person because of coronavirus. And there are a lot of people that did absentee voting, that mailed in their voting, that did early voting. So there is potential that some of these votes aren't going to be counted, the mail-in votes and whatnot, and the early votes aren't going to be counted all together, because some of them might still be in the mail. Right? So when they take into account all of the early votes, absentee votes, which means say you're going to be on vacation, and you know you're going to be on vacation, and you're not where you can go vote. Maybe I knew I had a vacation plan and I'm going to be in Florida. You have to vote in the town that you live in. So I live in Hillsborough, so I have to go to a place in Hillsborough to vote. You guys your parents have to go to a specific location to vote based on where you live. Now, my mom also lives in Hillsborough, but we don't go to the same place to vote. She goes there. I think there are 2 or 3 polling locations in Hillsborough. Hillsborough's tiny, but we still got 3 places because it would be very, very crowded and busy if every single person went to one single place. So there are several different places that you can go, but your specific little voter registration card tells you where to go to vote. So for me, I go to the police station / county building in Hillsborough. My mom, it's in a church. Some people tomorrow will come to the Danby building to vote. Okay? Some people, yeah, the people that live close by the school, they probably go to Danby. So like Josie, your dad, your mom and dad will probably come over here to Danby to vote, I'm guessing. No, they don't?
They already filled it
I
out.
don't know. Absentee vote. Josie, yes, talk.
Okay, so I don't see it. All it has is the questions, the 2 pages of questions, and then it has the last 10 presidents.
Okay, so then just be a good listener. I don't know why. Mr. Rothweiler scanned this in for me. I guess he didn't scan all the pages. What a turkey. I will talk to him about that. Okay, so just be a good listener and I'll go over this. Okay, okay, so anywho, you've got to be 35 years old. You have to have lived in the United States for the last 14 years. So could I have been like, you know what, I think I'm going to move to Europe for a while. And then you're like, oh wait, I want to be the president. I'm going to go back and be the president.
No, wait, couple more.
Why do they want you to have lived here for the past 14 years? Parker,
So you know all the laws.
you know all the laws?
The state's going through.
Jason?
You're not taking other laws and applying them here.
Okay, so I'm not like, okay, I've been in Europe and I want to turn America into Europe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you use
All
their
right,
laws.
both of those. Sean, what else?
So you can see what the country's like going through, kind of.
You need to know what the country's going through. What are the important issues in our country right now? If I've been in Europe, do I know what's important in America right now?
No.
No, I don't know what's important in America right now if I've been in Europe for the past 14 years. So they want you to live here so that you know what's going on in America, okay? So that you're not just trying to turn America into a different country or whatever it may be, okay?
What happens?
And then one more thing. There's just one more thing. You must have be a United States citizen at birth. The moment you were born, you must be a United States citizen. How do you know if you're a United States citizen at birth? If both of your parents were a United States citizen or you were born in the United States, and you're a United States citizen. Now, think about this. Think about like military families. Sometimes they get stationed overseas. So like last year I had a friend named Tom. Does anybody remember Tom Bauer?
No.
You don't have to scream it.
He moved to Iowa.
He moved at the end of last year. But last year I had a friend named Tom Bauer, and his dad is military, and they move around a lot. And he has lived in several different countries. One of them was Germany. I think he was born.
Yeah, he was born there.
He was born in Germany, but he was born on a United States military base, and both of his parents are United States citizens that just happened to be in Germany. So Tom is still a United States citizen at birth because his parents are citizens, and he was on United States soil in another country. We consider our military bases United States soil. Okay? Now, what if you were just on vacation? I have a stepbrother who, because of work, moved overseas and lived in the Middle East for a time. And him and his wife are American citizens. They were both born here in the St. Louis area. But they had 2 kids while they lived over there. Their kids are both citizens because both their parents are citizens. But they have dual citizenship, which means they have citizenship in the United States and the country where they were born. So they're citizens of both countries, okay? Could they be president?
Yeah.
Yes, because at the time of their birth, they were United States
If
citizens.
they fail here, they can be like,
Now,
let's go try there.
Miss Bab,
yes,
what if like one of your parents? Never mind. I didn't think about that.
okay.
Miss them. If they tried running for president here when they were 35, and they were like, "Oh, we failed here. Let's go try to get in the other state."
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now, so basically here it says these are the only qualifications that you have to have. be 35 years old, live in the United States for the last 14 years, and be a U.S. citizen at birth. That's all it requires. One of you said something about, but well, be a good person, don't have a criminal record. That seems like a good idea. Do you think we would probably elect the person that had like a very significant criminal record? Something bad, like, okay, speeding tickets, things like that. No big deal. Nobody's worried about stuff like that.
But
We're talking about like theft, murder, something like that. You're not going to see us, like, they're not going to get elected.
They're just already out.
Right, like nobody's going to vote for that. So even though it's not a law, you're not going to see a presidential candidate like that because nobody would vote for them.
Yeah.
Right? So, all right. So hang on. They came up with these rules back in the 1700s when they wrote the Constitution to make sure our nation stayed a democracy. A democracy is a type of government where rules and laws are made by the citizens and not just one person in charge like a king or dictator. So that's what I was kind of talking about when we were having writing a second ago, why they eventually end up limiting the number of times you can be president, because some of them were being president like 3, 4, 5 times, and it started to be like a dictator, like a king, one person in charge. It was their way, nobody else got an opinion. And so it started to get too much like a king, and so we said, well, we need to limit the terms so that one person doesn't have too much power, okay? However, even though there are only these 3 qualifications, it seems that it's easier for some people to become president than others. So what I mean by that is, as of 2020, right now, all of our presidents have been male, boys. 44 out of the 45 presidents have been white Americans, right? We know that Barack Obama, just a couple presidents back, he was our first and only African American. We've never had a Hispanic president. We've never had an Asian president or any other type of demographic, like any other type of person, okay? 33 out of the 45 have had a college degree, so they were well educated. 38 out of the 45 have been Christian in faith. We have had 0 presidents that have been Jewish, Hindu, Muslim, Buddhist, atheist, any of those kind of.
What is that?
Atheist is when you don't believe in any religion. Buddhist is a religion that we see a lot over in like Asia. You don't see it commonly in America. There are Buddhists here in America. These are just different religions. But most of the faith that we see around in this area, Baptist, Catholic, Lutheran, Methodist, Presbyterian, Christian, like they're all like a Christian faith. So most of the presidents have been
English.
Yes, English. Christian in faith, okay? So you're going to get a worksheet that shows the last 10 presidents, and then there's some questions to answer about it.
Wait, do we know use
Wait, does
Google?
it have George Washington?
But yeah.
Do we get to use
So if you look at, hang on, I got a couple charts here. I don't know. Do you guys have the page that has this, Josie? Okay. Listen, you guys stop talking and listen. If you want to keep talking, you can go in the hallway and do it. I'm all done. Okay? It's rude. Okay. So it says that I have a chart here. You guys will get to look at this when I hand this out in a second. But you can see that this big black area, the large portion of the chart is white. This is white people. Okay? It says 66% of America is made up of white people. That's the majority. Only 13% of America is African American. 11% is Hispanic. 6% is Asian. And then the other 4% is other, like Native Americans, or they have more than one race. Okay? They're still, no, albino still's part of something else. They didn't have any pigmentation on their skin. Okay? So if you looked at that, it would make sense that since 13% of our nation is African American, that we should have had at least one president that was African American. We do. Okay? But it also means that we should have had at least one president that was Hispanic, because there's about the same number of Hispanics as there are African Americans. But have we ever had a Hispanic? They make up 11% of our country. That's like a tenth of our country, give or take. So 1 out of the past 10 should have been Hispanic if we were fairly representing all of the people of America. except that hasn't been the case.
Miss Beth.
If we look at the bottom chart, it's showing men versus women. And as you can see, it's split 50-50. The United States is just about half women, half men, slightly more women than men. 51% versus 49%. So, if women were being fairly represented, 5 of the last 10, half of the last 10 presidents should have been women. But we've had
0.
none. In fact, there's only been one woman that ever even got on the ticket.
Hillary.
And by the ticket, I mean the ballot to vote. And that was last time, 4 years ago, Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. She did win the popular vote, but the Electoral College chose Donald Trump. Okay? It's why? Because that's how our government and our voting process works. Okay? It's too deep of a subject, and it's a controversial topic for some. So I'm not going to get into it today because we don't have that much time. Okay? But
rumors that she tried
not talking about the rumors because that is they're not true. Okay? That's why we're not discussing Trump Biden. There's too much. Well, somebody said this, or I heard this. Yeah, on a meme on Facebook don't count. Something on TikTok, and even something from your parents. I love you, parents. May or may not be 100% because they have bias and they have their own personal opinions, and that's okay. You will too when it's your turn to vote, and that's why our nation is great because you get a choice. Your parents get a choice. Everybody gets to choose what they think is best for them and their family. And it's okay to have a different opinion than the person that sits right next to you. It's even okay to have a different opinion than the people in your family. Right now, if you were to ask most of the people in America, everybody hates each other for having a difference of opinion, and that's ridiculous. I like Snickers, you like Oreos. Should we fight about it? I'm just saying.
Snickers are better.
Okay, you have Star Wars hand sanitizer. I hate Baby Yoda. Should we fight about it? I don't actually hate Baby Yoda. I love Baby Yoda. Who doesn't love Baby Yoda? Okay, listen, just an example. Should we fight about everything just because we have a different opinion? No. We have these different parties, Democrat and Republican, because most people, at least used to, lean one way or the other. So I actually have a sheet that talks about Democrat versus Republican. So we'll go over that really quickly. But I need you guys listening and not chatting. Some of you are making a lot of noises. Put your mask on your face the correct way, or you go to the office. I can't tell you again. I won't tell you again. Okay. Democrats versus Republicans. Okay, this is a simple little thing that compares the two. Is this the absolute perfect source?
Yeah.
When you are looking at facts and doing research, you should always consult more than one source. This is why, yes.
I don't think we have the page. We have.
Okay, I'm gonna reshare. I'm gonna reshare this with you guys when they go to specials in a little bit. They'll go to PE, and then I'll have to rescan this in because Mr. Rothwell didn't scan all the pages. I apologize. So again, be a good listener. All right, you guys chit-chatting. Shush. Okay, so always consult more than one source because the person that writes the article, they have an opinion too, and they might sway it versus their opinion versus what somebody else's is. So you should always look at more than one source. That's why when I'm saying you're writing your president paper, find more than one source. And I don't know if you guys noticed on your president paper at the very top, it says 3 sources. So that's where you'll list your websites that you use to gather your information.
What if
Okay?
our source doesn't have www.
It does, or something like that. If you can't figure out what the source is, you raise your hand and you ask me, or you send me a message and you ask me, and I will help you. Stop that. Okay, I got to get through this. Hands down for right now. Democratic Party. They are sometimes referred to as the left, or you might see a donkey that represents them. Hang on, I can't see. Yeah, donkey. Wait a minute. Where'd it go? I'm way too close. Boop, 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 donkey. Okay. Democratic Party believes that government should protect the rights and well-being of its citizens and the environment. The party is fine with the government getting involved in passing and enforcing laws that advance the well-being of its citizens. The Democrats usually like to think about affordable health care for every citizen, affordable college tuition, strict gun control laws, a healthy budget for social services that help the disabled, the poor, the elderly, and the mentally ill. So people that can't take care of themselves, people that need the help of others. The Democratic Party usually is more about finding support and funding for those kinds of people. Okay. Higher taxes for wealthy people and big corporations, and shrinking the gap between the rich and the poor. Okay. So the Democratic Party, normally, most Democrats want to see that the more you make, the more you pay in taxes. They think that's fair. Okay. So if you make more and you have more, then you can afford to give more than taxes. Okay. If it's an equal tax system, which is what the Republicans believe, then everybody pays the same amount, whether you're rich or poor, which means the rich are getting richer and the poor are probably paying more than they can actually afford sometimes.
Or even live.
Right. Okay. Now, back to Democrats. Passing laws that support new energy sources. So like wind and solar power. They tend to be more on the side of technology and scientific advancements. Okay. Passing laws that will help stop global warming. And then the Democrats are more about anti-discrimination laws to protect the rights of all people, no matter whether your race, your gender, or anything like that. Like, they want everybody to be treated fairly, no matter what you believe. Okay. And then the Democrats want to raise the minimum wage. Minimum wage is what you're required, like the least amount of money that people have to pay you. So when you turn 16, 17, 18, you get your first job, that business will have to pay you a certain amount. They can't be like, here's $3. That's not a fair wage. So they have these wage laws that say minimum wage is $16 an hour. I have no idea what minimum wage is right now. Okay, so $11 an hour. So if he's making 11, so it must be somewhere around 11, because if it was higher, if minimum wage is higher, they wouldn't get away with paying him 11. Okay, so then you have to make at least $11 per hour, give or take, based on what Sean's saying about his brother. Okay, so Democrats are like, let's raise that. That way, people that are working these minimum wage jobs, like usually they're kind of like your starter jobs, like when you're working like at a fast food restaurant or like Walmart greeter, something like that, that's like a pretty basic job, you make minimum wage at. It doesn't require you to have a bunch of school, a bunch of skills. You can just show up and do it, right? Would you like fries with that? Minimum wage. That's what you get paid for that.
That's what my brother says.
There you go. That's what Sean's brother says, and he gets paid $11 to say, would you like fries with that? All right, Republic, and there is nothing wrong with those jobs. Hopefully my daughter gets to have one of those jobs someday, but my daughter might not even have a minimum wage job. She might not have a job at all. So like, nothing bad against that. And that's the thing, like the Democrats want everybody to be paid fairly. So even the people that are working very basic jobs, they want them to be able to have a good living. So they want to raise minimum wage so that people can afford to work those jobs and still support their family. Okay. Republican Party. Republicans want less government interference, and they want people to be able to govern themselves and freedom to decide about their jobs, education, and healthcare, and they just make their own choices, okay? Yeah. This party favors that people make their own choices about their healthcare. There are fewer laws that regulate how businesses operate. Large budgets for the military. They very much support gun ownership. And then they have a tax system that does not overtax the wealthy. They think that the wealthy will probably use any extra money they have to open new businesses and create other jobs. Maybe. A strict immigration policy, which cuts down the number of immigrants entering the United States, and not raising the minimum wage, because that's the government. They think that's the government interfering in a free trade economy. Now, looking at this information, I would say that this article is biased one way or the other, meaning that it favors one side versus the other. It makes one side sound better than the other.
It favors the Democrats.
Which side do you think did it make sound better?
Democrats.
Democrats, right?
But they don't tell the other side.
But did it give a fair picture of the Republican side? I don't know. This is a perfect example of why you need to check multiple sources. As I'm reading through these, there is almost no reason to choose the Republican Party. Some of these things are true. That's the way the Republican Party leans, but they wrote this in a way that makes the Republicans sound bad, and that like they want like
they only talk for themselves.
Like they're only worried about themselves. Like it's everybody for themselves. Okay. And that Democrats are like trying to take care of everybody, and Republicans only care about themselves and getting richer. And
That's how all politicians are.
Sam's point, that's how all politicians are. Yes, all politicians are about rich getting richer ultimately at the end of the day. It seems that way, at least lately. As some of you do your research, especially those of you that have presidents, older presidents back in the day, you get to JFK or earlier, the political parties weren't as divided as they are now. Okay, hang on. So you'll see that we had a lot more candidates and presidents that were what now we would call middle of the road. They had some things that they liked that were kind of on the Democrat side, and they had some things that they liked that were kind of on the Republican side. And I find as a grown-up myself that that's kind of how a lot of the grown-ups that I know tend to be. There are things that are good about the Republican side, and there are things that are good about the Democratic side. There are pros and cons, or good things and bad things to each side, okay? So some people are like, I only like Republican things. Some people are like, I only like Democrat things. And some people are like, I like a little bit of both, okay? There's no right or wrong. Just don't be judgy of other people is kind of where I think we need to be going forward. You're totally allowed to have your own opinion. You should have your own opinion. Don't just do what everybody else does because everybody else does it. I'm going to do this because Riley and Lily are doing it. I'm going to do this because Grayson and Jason are doing this. I'm going to do this because Josie and Kane are doing this. No. Form your own opinions, but do your own research and check more than one place, because you might be reading an article that you guys pretty quickly could read this and say, well, this makes the Democratic Party sound really good. But weird enough, if I go home tonight, my parents are all going to bash the Democratic Party. And many of you, I know, that's not the way that your families are leaning. And that's totally okay. That, like I said, there is no right or wrong. But the big thing is that you guys just need to be learning how to form your own opinions and not be mad at others that have different opinions. Okay. And the nice thing is if you have a different opinion from someone, you can learn from them. You can be open and listen and learn. And that's the best part about it. And that's fantastic. Now, so what we're going to do, we ran out of time. So we're going to do it as morning work in the morning, but you guys have these questions. So I would say you guys can go ahead and work on the social studies questions that you have that are about the last 10 presidents. They're going to do it for morning work so that they don't get behind because they've got to pack up and go home for the day. Okay, hang on, pause. You guys pause. Josie, yes.
So, will you resend it? Should we just like click the check mark, not put anything, and then you'll resend everything? Or what?
Yeah, just ignore that one. I'll just resend it here in a little bit. I'm going to have to go down to the copier and just actually scan into other pages. And then you guys will probably have to
work on something else
here in
for a little bit.
And then you'll have all the information that you need. Okay.
Awesome.
But for now,
Thanks.
you guys are good to go. Just, I would say, wait, give me 15, 20 minutes and then hit refresh and you'll have your questions up. And then everybody saw the memo, we'll do our other 3 classes tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 10:45. Okay. Sorry about that you didn't get a full day to do nothing. I don't get a full day to do nothing either. That was just kind of how my schedule worked out today. I apologize. But thank you guys for all being here this afternoon. And then I'll see you guys in the morning.
All right. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Now,
Yeah.
tomorrow. Yeah, virtual.